Today, we're going to unpack the story of Zomato. It's an incredible journey that starts with a simple office annoyance and ends up as a multi-billion-dollar empire. And it all begins with a feeling we all know way too well: midday hunger.
So let's set the scene, right? It's 2008. You're in a busy corporate office in New Delhi, the consulting firm Bain Company, to be exact. Lunchtime hits, and that familiar question starts buzzing around. What are we going to order?
But here's the crazy part. The line of people isn't for the cafeteria. No, people are queuing up for a single file folder. A paper one. Inside that folder, a messy stack of menus from all the local restaurants. This was it. This was the only way for a whole office to decide what to eat.
Now this little ritual, this inefficient line, is what catches the eye of a young consultant named Deepinder Goyal. While everyone else just saw a line, he saw something different. He saw a completely broken process, a bottleneck that just made no sense in the modern world.
And this is so important. Goyal figured out that the problem wasn't a lack of food. I mean, come on, it's Delhi. There were thousands of restaurants. The real problem was an information bottleneck. The frustration wasn't about the options. It was about the simple act of getting to see them.
So what did he do? Something so simple it was brilliant. He grabbed that file, scanned every single menu, and just uploaded the pictures to the company's internal website. That's it. No app, no fancy tech, and the reaction from his coworkers, it was immediate. They loved it. Suddenly, everyone could browse menus and decide what they wanted without ever leaving their desk.
And that's when the light bulb went off, you know? If this little hack was such a game changer in one office building, you can bet it was a massive problem for thousands of other offices all across the city, maybe even the whole country.
This one realization was the spark for the whole thing. It led to the very first version of the company, which, by the way, was called Foodie Bay back then. And their mission had nothing to do with delivery. It was all about bringing some order to the chaos of offline information.
And this is probably the biggest lesson from their early days. We all know Zomato as this delivery giant, but that is not where they began. Their entire foundation was built on solving a simple information problem. They created huge value just by organizing what was already out there but was totally out of reach.
Now, building this database, let's be clear, it was the total opposite of glamorous. This was serious, feet-on-the-street grunt work. Teams were literally walking block by block, collecting menus, snapping photos, and pinning the exact location of every single restaurant. This hard work built a data moat that no competitor could easily copy.
And their business model back then? So simple and smart. It was asset-light, which just means they didn't own any kitchens or delivery bikes. They were an information platform, plain and simple. They made money by selling ads to restaurants, and their main goal was to teach people a new habit. Before you even think about eating, you search on Zomato.
But here's the thing about business. The market never, ever sits still. Just as Zomato had taught everyone to search for food online, a new expectation started to bubble up. People didn't just want to find food anymore. They wanted it brought right to their doorstep. And this forced a massive pivot that would change the company's DNA forever.
Zomato had to completely transform. Think about it. They had to go from being this lean, ad-based info company to an operations-heavy, complex logistics machine. Now we're talking about managing thousands of delivery partners, real-time tracking, and round-the-clock customer service. It was a whole different ballgame.
And this all came to a head in 2015. Why then? Well, new competitors, especially Swiggy, had jumped onto the scene with a delivery-first model from day one. Goyal knew that just being a discovery platform wasn't going to cut it anymore. They had to get into the delivery game, and they had to do it fast.
So now, Zomato's in the delivery business. But their next move wasn't just about playing defense or keeping up. No, it was about actively shaping how people behaved. It was about making online food ordering not just a once-in-a-while thing, but a default, everyday habit for millions.
And they had a pretty powerful three-part playbook. First, in 2020, they acquired Uber Eats India business, a huge move that basically made it a two-player race. Second, they introduced subscriptions like Zomato Gold and Pro to lock in customers and get them ordering again and again. And third, just relentless marketing to make sure that the moment you felt a little hungry, the first word that popped into your head was Zomato. And this brings us to the second massive takeaway from the Zomato story. They didn't just find an existing market for food delivery. They actively taught and expanded that market. They trained an entire generation of consumers to see ordering in as a normal, regular part of life.
Okay, so they've got food pretty much on lock. What's next? Well, after a huge IPO, Zomato's ambition got way, way bigger. The new vision wasn't just about food anymore. It was about becoming a go-to platform for hyper-local delivery, basically getting you almost anything you need and fast.
And wow, when you look at the timeline, you can really feel that acceleration. It all starts with a simple website in 2008, then that crucial pivot to delivery in 2015. They buy out a huge competitor in 2020, launch a landmark IPO in 2021, and just a year later in 2022, they jump headfirst into quick commerce. The acquisition of Blinkit in 2022 was the key piece of that puzzle. Suddenly, Zomato wasn't just about your dinner anymore. It was about getting groceries, essentials, whatever you needed, delivered in minutes. This was a bet that what people really crave isn't just food, but the convenience and speed of getting anything delivered.
So, when you boil this whole incredible journey down, from scanned menus in an office to a massive public company, what's the one big idea we can take away from it? Well, it really comes down to a single defining question about what it means to innovate.
The real genius of Zomato's story is that they did both. They started by solving a very simple, very real problem that existed today, but they truly grew into a giant by shaping a powerful new habit for tomorrow. And that's the ultimate question this story leaves us with. Is your work about fixing the frustrations of today, or is it about creating the rituals of tomorrow?